courtroom, hours away, like we're looking at you, right over the shoulder of the judge. And what warmed their hearts was seeing the courtroom packed with librarians from throughout the region. These librarians did not know who the John Doe librarians were, because they could not say that they were. But they knew that if it was librarians who were targeted, that they wanted to let them know they were not alone. So this case went forward, and it got crazy. The government forgot to redact in the documents they released the name of Peter Chase and Library Connection, so reporters start calling his house. He comes down home one day from the Plainville Library. His son comes outside, you know, and he's gotten a call. He says, Dad, a reporter calls. He says, the FBI in a court case, like, are you involved in drugs? And it just goes on like this. And Peter Chase calls his lawyer. He's all chuckling. He's saying, this is ridiculous. We have kept secret who we are, and now the government has revealed who we are. And now reporters are calling, and there's silence at the other end. The lawyer is not laughing. He says, Peter, you have to leave home. They don't know if you call the reporters or they call you. They don't know if you talk to the reporters, but there's a record now of that connection. You are not allowed to reveal who you are. You should not stay in any one place more than a couple of nights. Now these librarians are gagged, muzzled, and on the run. They're fugitives. Ultimately, you know, they could not testify against the USA Patriot Act in Congress because they're the gagged librarians. The Patriot Act is renewed. And a few weeks later, the muzzle is taken off. The gag is lifted. And they are, except for archive.org in San Francisco, the only 4 people who can talk who have spoken about having received an NSL. It's very serious. They don't feel they should be policing their patrons, that they should be there to help, that America, that libraries really are like independent bookstores, like Powell's, like the wonderful KBOO, like the other media here that run Democracy Now!, Portland TV, Pulse of Portland, TBC TV, Channel 23, Channel 29. These are sanctuaries of dissent, and the librarians felt that, especially now, by the way, in this economic downturn where people are turning more and more to libraries to get information, it's almost like a doctor-patient relationship, that librarians are there to help you if you have a medical problem. You don't want to reveal things to others. You want to do research. They're the freedom fighters of our time. So our chapter on the librarians is called Librarians Unbound.
I thought they were tough just collecting those fines for opening the books. You know, you mentioned Truth Commission a little earlier in passing, and as far as the mainstream press is concerned, truth commissions or indictments of the past administration is just pretty much not on their radar screen, and the political leadership, with a few exceptions, seems to want to just say we need to look forward. And I'm curious, what's your sense of how much popular support is there for holding Bush and company accountable, bringing them before the bar of some sort? And what do you see in terms of what's happening out there politically of that possibly happening?
There is a lot that's going on. You have a Spanish judge who now is they're trying to bring charges like they did against Pinochet, against the lawyers, John Yoo, Jay Bybee, who were in the Justice Department, the torture memos, Addington, who replaced Scooter Libby as Chief of Staff of Vice President Cheney. Doesn't go to the very top, although it could with discovery, and I think there's going to be more revealed on this week. You know, Balthazar Garcon, the famous judge who was going after and did have Augusto Pinochet arrested in Britain. I was interviewing Mary Robinson recently, the former president of Ireland, who is the former chair, High Commissioner of Human Rights. When I asked her what President Obama said about we have to move forward, not look back, she said, no, in order to move forward, we have to look back. I think there is a feeling around the world that there needs to be some kind of accounting. And if you want to move forward, I think lots of people are deeply concerned about what has happened in this country, which, if I could just comment a little on President Obama and what his election meant and where we're going from here overall. I think on November 4th, the world heaved a sigh of relief. It wasn't just a national election. I mean, it was a global event. I was traveling outside the country before the election. People were paying more attention to our elections than they were to their own politics and their own elections. And this goes to your question, Dave, of how people feel outside and inside this country. And it goes because of what has happened before. You know, Barack Obama is a global man. His father, black Kenyan man, mother, white woman from Kansas, born in Hawaii, raised partly in Indonesia, goes back to Hawaii, raised by his maternal grandparents, then goes to Occidental College in California, Columbia University, graduates from in New York, goes to be an organizer on the south side of Chicago, becomes the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review, goes back to Chicago to be a community organizer, ultimately, right, becomes president of the United States. Imagine, parents now are saying to their kids, maybe you could be a community organizer too. And so what he did was phenomenal. I mean, the community organizing that took place. You knew at the Republican convention, maybe we can talk more about other events at the Republican convention, but the Republican convention with Sarah Palin and my New York mayor, Rudolph Giuliani, when they were basically, I mean, they were ridiculing Obama. Community organizer, like you call this a job, sort of eviscerating him over this. And I thought that that's always a red flag. It's not just debating an issue that you disagree with. When you really ridicule, you know there's a power. They have to just in some primal way somehow undercut it. They knew that was his power. And it reminds me of, well, we begin standing up to the madness with a quote of Mahatma Gandhi. First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And so Barack Obama mobilizes millions of people, young people like we've never seen before. So 67% of Latinos voted for him, 95% of African Americans voted for Barack Obama, 70% of single women seem to be considered a new voting bloc. We've never seen anything like it. Now, we did opt out of public campaign financing, very serious problem in this country. Our politics is marinated in money, is so often determined by money, is swamped by money. Most expensive election in U.S. history. He spent more money than anyone in U.S. history. Now, it came from two different places. One is millions of people giving small amounts of money. Millions. And then there was the small circle of people and corporations who gave millions. They're used to doing that. And the question is, who will win out? The millions who gave small amounts, or the small numbers of people who gave millions? Who will win out here? The ones who are used to walking the West Wing, walking those hallowed halls of power, they know how it works. If they whisper in his ear, we want you to do this, and he can't point out the window of the White House and say, but if I do that, they will storm the Bastille. If there's no one out there to point at, he's in trouble. And there's going to also be times when you just totally disagree with what he's doing. And the question is, how are you going to organize? He knows the power of community organizing. So this issue is very critical now. And for those who say, when they say to you, you know, what do you think of Barack Obama? And you say, well, let's just wait and see. That is a deadly attitude, because those who are used to walking the West Wing, they are organizing double time now. I'm reading a book now on FDR, and those first 100 days were critical. It's when they lay the foundation. And if you're saying, let's wait and see, you are missing the boat completely. This is the moment when what is going to happen in the future is laid out. Now, there are important things that Barack Obama did. When he first came to office, he immediately issued the executive order to close Guantanamo. And that goes to the issue of what has happened in the past. That's very, very important. He has not ended extraordinary rendition. Extraordinary rendition is, White House for kidnapping, basically. It is when the U.S. is involved with kidnapping someone, say Maher